Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Today is the day of the sun, but it's also the day of the Lord. Why I'm telling you this? Because today I feel the need to share something spiritual about my marital journey, about my marriage from the spiritual point of view. And why is that? So I've just come out from the service from this church behind me. This is a Lutheran church. And you may know, or you may imagine that I Catholicish, meaning that I've been raised Catholic and I attended the service at the Catholic churches all over the world actually for all my life basically, almost every week, not every week, but almost every week with a few interruptions. I followed the service at Catholic churches. But as you may know, also I've been divorced for almost 5 years right now, and you understand that Catholics and divorce, they don't get along very well. I tried to reconcile with this and to go back to the church, but I mean really it's hard to go in a place where you're not really welcome. I mean they just tolerate you. I mean you are divorced, but you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot. Yeah, but I am from the point that I tried everything. Is not my fault. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm in a full sin, but I still need to stay in touch with Jesus in a free way, and so I was looking for another church. So I tried several other churches, and something that I learned moving to this country, the United States, which is people may not understand it, but very diverse country, is that I met people of many religions. And what I understood that we all want to be good people. We all believe in the same God, basically, in different way. So that made me open up to other faiths. So not only Catholic. It's not that I cannot go to Catholic church, or I don't like, or don't feel welcome in a Catholic church, and I need to do, I need to give up God completely. I tried some other churches around here of different faith, and then I end up the one behind here. That it's a Lutheran church. So what's particular Lutheran? Lutheran, I thought that they were Martin Luther was one of the first protesters from the Christian church, and back in the day, I thought that it was completely drifted away from the way we do the service with the Pope and with the other stuff in the Catholic. It's actually very similar. I would say that Lutheran Church is like exactly the same of the Christian. We pray the same prayer, the same style, and except that it's not as bigot as the Catholic. No offense, but is also the downside is also as boring as the Catholic service, unlike other services like the Baptists are very lively. But you need to get involved, spiritual, to understand it, to get in the same page and the same wavelength of that church. So I felt home here. So what happened today? Why this service today made me think about what I want to share you today? Because today, and this video is about my marriage, not about faith. So bear with me. We'll get to the point. But I really want to share this. So today we prayed and we professed our faith with the Nicene Creed. As you know, most of a Christian, they express their faith and their promise. The American would say we pledge allegiance. We pledge allegiance to our faith, our God, through the creed, which is another word to say beliefs, what we believe. So we believe in God, Jesus, His reason, all this stuff like that. He suffered, He died, all this stuff. In a prayer, that it's called the Creed. Now there are several versions. The most common are the Apostles' Creed, which we prayed for the last 6 months here, and the Nicene Creeds, which is the one that I used to say when I went to the Catholic service. Catholic use both versions, but the Nicene Creed is the longer versions for solemnity, because I go to church when on Sunday typically. I was 95% of the time we say the longer version. But so today the pastor also made us pray using the Nicene Creed as opposite to the Apostles' Creed that is shorter. And I felt like, something that was familiar to me, and something that, in this church is Lutheran, I felt, welcome anyway, because it was accepting my past, but still giving me the possibility to pray as I used to, but at the same time, feel part of the community, and so on and so on. Why I'm saying this? So, while I following the service, I got distracted. I confess it. Right in front of you, I try to pay attention to the full hours plus of the service, but I got, zone out sometimes. And I zoned out this time, thinking about, divorce, how these people here in the Lutheran Church are a little bit more welcoming to divorces, while, as you know, Catholic, they say, okay, you can come pray here, but then you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot do but when I was I tried everything to make, because for me marriage is something really spiritual too. It's not like a contract between me and my wife. It's something spiritual. It's something that involves God, it involves the faith and everything. But I tried everything to make it godly. But when I understood that it was not godly, then I had to divorce. So I don't feel that it's my fault. And probably I'm completely wrong. And I'm living in sin. But what I can tell that now I'm much happier. I don't know about her, but my children are functioning much better now. And we're more humble, and we are doing much better, spiritual wise too. Now, one episode, why I say let's say, I want to make this marriage as spiritual as possible. So when I was struggling with marriage, also we asked the support of our pastor at the time, our priest, my home church, let's say, which we had a good relationship with, luckily, because my ex was helping in the church before when she was younger. And also, the priest is very intellectual. Some priests are more intellectual, some priests are more, easygoing. This was like an intellectual kind of guy, and I pretend, I like to think about myself that I make deeper, philosophical analysis about life than most people. So we get along really well. This is to say, so we went to talk to this priest that now he became bishop. So he's really a talented priest, I would say. I not always agree on everything on how the Catholic Church is led most of the time, and I had criticism about this, but still I say, I realize what does mean, the leader of Catholic Church and go to a service and being part of the community. So the church, the important part of the church is the community. Actually, the word church doesn't mean the building, doesn't mean the institution, it means the people. When Jesus talks about church, he means the community. Now, we were in distress, and we went to talk to the priest. The priest said something that was confusing to me, was actually correct after years. The problem that it was not communicated in a correct way that I could have understood at that time. Now I understand, it's too late, unfortunately. It did help to save the marriage, but he said something that was very important. He said several things, two things said, but one was more important. He said, sometimes women, this is the priest, the priest say women don't like when the husband says always yes, yes, yes. Women don't like that. So sometimes we need to say no. It was confusing for me that, because for me, being a Christian and being also a husband was to serve, to have a service for the family, for the wife, for the children. So for me, it's really kind of, helping people. If people ask, then I would say, yes, I'm here. If Jesus asks, I'm here. That will say. I thought that I see Jesus in other people, so if other people ask, then I'm here and I will be available. That was my kind of say yes every time to my wife. He said, no, we didn't get to this deep, but he knew me. He said saying yes is that, makes women don't like that. I say, okay, but I mean, if she needs, why I should say no? Just because, I didn't understood at the point. Now I know that people ask just for the sake of ask, not because they need. So if they need, we can help them. If they ask, it doesn't mean that they really need that. First of all, if we indulge in helping people that just ask, it's like spoiling them, making spoiled people. But there is also another aspect. Even if people need help genuinely, it does mean that we need to help them. Some people need to help themselves because they're adult and they need to help themselves. This is how I understand what Don Peter, Father Peter, said to me that day, which I didn't understand. It took, now I would say 10 years so that's the problem sometimes with Catholic Church, and sometimes also with therapists. Therapists cannot say you need to divorce. Catholic priests cannot say you need to divorce, or you need to be harder and stronger and tougher on the marriage, because it's a little bit against their messages. So therapists, psychologists cannot tell you need to divorce. So they use some euphemism to tell you. And sometimes we don't get it, because really we don't want to divorce, because we're generally, we want to the unity of the family. So this is one thing that he said. He said the women don't like people that say yes, don't like yes men. And now I understand what he meant. The other thing that he said is that sometimes we must not be too good. We must not be always good. And that pissed me off when he say this to me, and say, what does it mean? I'm a good guy. I want to be good. Why I should be mean? Because I didn't understand what good means, or what was the opposite of mean. And probably that was not a really good way to say it from his side, but and actually, now that I'm talking to you, I'm glad that I'm sharing this, because now I understand even better that party was not right. It was right, really right. So guys, women, men, women don't like yes men. So, okay, so what this means, that you don't need, what's the take home of this statement? It's not that we need to say no just because. We must not help people always, because they need to rely on themselves. They're adult, they can rely on themselves. Otherwise, if one day we are not there because we are in a business trip, we are away, we are in a hospital, we die too. But I mean, we are say that we're some serious that we cannot help. We are injured and we cannot help. They're lost if they don't learn how to help and how to function themselves. And actually, there is a friend of mine that we speak almost weekly, that he got in a car accident. He was not in the car. He was hit while crossing the street in front of his house. He was hit, and that was the crashing of his family, because his wife could not function and started blaming him for everything. And he couldn't understand. Say, what do you mean? I cannot move from my bed. I'm in excruciating pain. He had multiple bones broken, and he was in excruciating pain. Probably he had a concussion, and he was under strong medication. And she say, you lash out. I mean, the wife, you lash out here and there. You're not reliable. And say, what do you mean I'm not reliable? Now I need your help. I helped all my life, in a good way or a bad way, but I tried to help. I did my best, to the best of my knowledge, to help you all life. Now I need help, and I don't have the help of my wife and of my adult children at this point. So that's what happen if you help people when they need help but can help themselves. So Father Peter say, you must not be good all the time, because if you are good all the time, that's what happen. People cannot rely on themselves, and when you're missing, you actually make more damage that you want to solve. Maybe in 5 years, in 15 years, but you make, it's not your fault, because nobody, when we go to the church, they don't say, hey guys, you don't have to be good. They say, you have to be good, you have to help people, you have to do charity, you have to do all this stuff. And they never say, okay, you have to do charity, but sometimes when people can handle themselves, let them handle themselves. Never they teach that. So when I was in crisis, I went to talk to Father Peter with my wife, and he said, you must not be good, but I'm a good at heart, and I'm sure that you are listening, you are good at heart. How can we not be good? So we need to understand that when people need help, but they have the resource to help themselves, it's good that we let them learn. It's good that, like a homework, it's good that they do their own homework. We don't need to tell them what to write on their homework on their page, because one day they will go to work and they will not have us helping them, and so they will underperform at that point. Okay, so that's not a disservice that we do to people when we help them all the time. Yeah, so that's what I want to tell you. So I don't know actually the message. If the message is that we must trust people in need, that they can help themselves, or the message is that sometimes it's said that we cannot rely on the Catholic Church, on our church or our spiritual community. It could be our rabbi, our the people that the leader of the spiritual community. We cannot rely on that, because when it comes, marriage is very complicated. When it comes to marriage, the message that they give, it's confusing, because sometimes it does not contradict their message, but it looks like. So sometimes they try to mask this message, and it gets even more confusing. And when they talk about marriage, they always talk about rainbow, the unicorn. They never tell, the sheep and the little goat that goes on the river, and with the pastor that lead them, like that. Rainbow, unicorn, these fancy, they never talk about hard time. When they talk about hard time, you need to be patient. Yeah, patient, but there is so much that we can put up with, that we can handle, and there is so much that we can understand on the project, because we don't study this stuff at school or in church, so nobody tell us. What we need to do, if you're a spiritual guy, we need to put our heart in God, but also we need to put our mind and our feeling through coaching. That's what I do. So again, if you are in distress, call me privately, and we can discuss about this, how to solve your marriage struggle or your divorce struggle, and it will match. With coaching, we will understand what to do. It's not like a homework or a list of action that we need to do to solve. It's all inside us. And from a spiritual point of view, we need to open your heart to God, to Jesus, or to Allah, or to the universe, or whatever is your understanding of spiritual, of the superior being. Because when we do that, or through meditation, when we do that, the universe of God will give us the good wisdom to do everything, as Jesus did to me many times in my life. It's not that I know everything. I understood everything when I opened my heart to and my mind to him, and to be open to something, not be biased to the goal. So put the teaching from the universe or from God first, and then my goal after, because sometimes my goal is completely wrong. Again, so don't rely on your spiritual institution or spiritual advisors or leaders. Rely on God. Really, you close yourself in the car, in a place that you're, or in the nature, in a place that, or go to the church, but when there is no service, and kneel somewhere or sit and wait for God to give you the answer to your question. Don't rely on people. Mostly people in church are as flawed as we are, especially people in Catholic Church. Spiritual leaders are celibate. Many times they know a lot of people who are married, but they're not married themselves. And even people who are married, they don't go through our same struggles, so they cannot help. Only we can help ourselves, and God can help us also. Now say, okay, Coach Franco, now I'm realizing I'm talking against me. So they say, don't get advice from Coach Franco. The way I give advice, the way my coaching work is not I give you advice. I give you some education. I give you some options, just to say that there are more options that you may have thought of. But my style of coaching is to say, I put all your power in you on how to see your mind. So I'll help you to see your mind, and eventually spiritually too, from a spiritual point of view. But I help you to see your mind with special techniques and coaching styles, but you will have the answer ultimately. You will teach me more than I'll teach you, and that will be something that will empower you, because it will make you understand that you know more than you think you do. All right? Again, happy Sunday. I pray for you, and pray for me, especially those who believe. Okay, and those who believe, make a point, try to pray, and see if this works for you too.